My journey began, I'm going to say, in Springfield, Ohio. That's where I'm from. Went to Springfield South High, loved it. I was the first female drum major, the person that gets out in front of the band and marches with the batons and all that. That was me. I then went to Miami University, and my scholarship was actually in music, but I knew I wanted to be a lawyer. But Miami University, graduated from there with a bachelor's in political science. Got married, had some kids, and then in 1987 came to Cleveland Marshall College of Law and graduated in 1990, began working for George Forbes at Forbes Fields and Associates. At the time it was called Forbes. It was called Forbes and Timor. That's what it was called at that time. Wow, long time ago. And I stayed with Forbes Fields and Associates for 10 years. But prior to that time, just very, very briefly, and Judge Blackman will probably mention this, she hired me over the phone while I was still in Springfield to work for her at the prosecutor's office as a mediator. So while I was in law school, I worked at the City of Cleveland prosecutor's office as a mediator. And that's where I first met Judge Blackman. At that time, she was the city prosecutor. In 1999, I believe it was, I opened my own practice in my home. For 2 years, I worked out of my home, taking whatever I could get, any cases that came. I remember those days because I actually, back then pagers were big, pagers, and so everybody had my pager number, my cell number, my home office number, because I don't want to miss any business. So I would get phone calls from early in the morning to late at night, didn't matter, because I was taking anything I could take. So within 2 years, my business had grown so much, it sort of outgrew my home, and I began sharing space with a guy named James Hewitt. So we had an office on Superior Avenue, and I stayed with James Hewitt for about 3 years. I still had my own private practice, but I shared space with him. So, and again, my firm grew so much, I kind of outgrew him, grew the area, and I found a location on St. Clair Avenue and 21st Street, and that was the first office of the law office of Cassandra Collier-Williams that was just me. I opened in there and just me. And the interesting thing about that is the person who rented that place before me is the current judge, Tanya Jones. And so she called me and said, hey, Cassandra, I'm thinking about doing something different. This space is pretty good if you want to get it. And I said, great. And I went and looked at it, fell in love with it. And that's where I stayed for about 7 or 8 years, I think. My firm grew. I had about 3 lawyers working for me. And we had a total of like 12 rooms in that. It was a great space. It's unbelievable. We had 12 rooms. We had 2 conference rooms. We had office space. We had support staff. And so I think during that time, I learned how to do a lot of different stuff. A lot of contract law, a lot of construction law, church law, criminal law, domestic relations, juvenile court. So I really got very well-rounded in the type of law that we practice in my law firm. So I stayed there until 2012, and when I won my election to be judge. And I closed my office at the end of 2012 and became a judge, began practicing, and began my judgeship in January 12th, 2013. So that's how I got There's a lot of reasons why. I think my mom she wanted me to be a lawyer, and she always talked about, my mother passed in 2001, but she always wanted me to be a lawyer, and thank God she was able to see me as a lawyer, because I was a lawyer, well before she passed. But she also kind of saw me as a judge. And as I practiced a lot, and when I practiced, I did a lot of government work when I first worked for Forbes, Fields and Associates. And I practiced all over the country in different areas, anything federal we were doing. And, I saw a lot of judges during that time, saw a lot of judges during my practice. And I just thought that, wow, I think one day I want to do that. Because it's also a way of kind of serving the people, giving back, and trying to do what I can to really promote justice and fair dealings and that kind of thing. So I wanted to be a judge because I thought I could make a difference as a judge. I thought that it was important that, especially in criminal cases, when you have people that on one side of the bench, they can look at the judge and say, wow, she looks like me, then maybe I have a better shot or something. Even though, we're fair to everybody, I think it's important for people to see that sort of relationship, or see that sort of, where they can relate kind of to the judge, or better yet, they can think that the judge can relate to them. You may know what I've been through. You may know how I got to where I'm at. So that's one of the reasons why that's the majority of the reason why I wanted to be a lawyer. The other reason, and there is another reason, in the years that I was practicing, it's hard work to practice law. It's very, very hard work. And you're chasing clients, you're chasing payments, you're always under the gun, trying to do this, trying to work these different cases. And I just thought, man, I don't know if I want to be 80 years old practicing law. So I said, I better be a judge. I may have already been kind of tough, but you learn how to be still tough when you're there. You learn how to fight for your clients. You learn how to, you pick up a really strong work ethic. You don't play around. You make sure your dates are known. You make sure things are done the way they're supposed to be done. So working for Mr. Forbes was a good experience that I appreciate, because again, it makes me what I am today. It was a very, you learned a lot, and you learned to be tough. Well, we celebrate Black History every single day of the year, 365 days. So if the court is, or if the country is giving, 30 days to kind of highlight, I think it's very important that we do something great here at the court. That's why, we're doing these interviews and things of that nature. I think it's important for the people to know that historically in our court, and the common pleas bench has been around since the 1800s, the very first African-American female judge in common pleas general division, which is our division here in the Justice Center, was Stephanie Tubbs Jones. That was number one. Number two was Lillian Green. Number three, Shirley Strickland Saffold. Number four, Cassandra Collier-Williams. Number five, Debbie Turner. That's it. So we are making history every day, because I am just the fourth African-American female to be elected in Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Court General Division. And I think that is very important for everybody to know. We are very proud of it, but at the same time, it's a sad, sad fact that in 2021, which means this court has been in existence for, 150 years or so, that I am just number 4. The history of the African American in the United States is a long history. It is a history of 400 years here. And it is so important that we give information and that we at least celebrate it, if it is only for 30 days and some. But, you know, we really work to celebrate this every day of the year. But history, Black History Month is very, very important. It's something that we can just skip over and act like it's no big deal. It's a very big deal, and we have to honor the African Americans who have made strides and who have done things in this county and the court system. We want to celebrate them. So that's what this means to me. Oh, you can be anything. I remember my mother was a minister, and she would always teach us as kids. I was the youngest of 6 children. And she would say, repeat after me, I can be whatever I want to be. I can do whatever I want to do. And we always, that was sort of ground into us. We can do whatever we want to do. We can be where we want to be. And that would be my message to the young people, is that you can do and be whatever you want to be. You just have to put the work in behind it. Everything takes work. And the greater your work ethic, the greater your reward will be. Everything isn't easy. I tell my sons every single day, every day is a fight in your life. Every day is a fight. And if you think it's not a fight, then I would say to you that you're probably not achieving everything you want to achieve. Because there's always people who are there to try to stop you, to try to slow you down, try to do whatever. So every day is a fight. And I would tell the young people, prepare to fight every day to achieve your goals, because you can achieve all of your goals. If you're in a school where people say, you ought to go to community college, but you know that you want to be an engineer or you want to be a doctor, then, go for it. Go for being the doctor. Go for it. Don't let anybody stop you. You have to believe in you. And that's important, is whether you believe in yourself. I believe in affirmations and things. And I would tell young people, start knowing your affirmations. I am somebody. That's a very easy one. I am somebody. I can do what I want to do. I can have what I want to have, and I can work hard to achieve it. So it's my message to the young people is that work hard. You can do it. Life may be a battle, but you can win. You can win. I just want to say happy Black History Month to everybody. We're so happy to be a part of Black History Month. And to all the employees of the Justice Center, on behalf of the 34 judges here, I want to again, wish you well. Thank you for participating, and we hope that during this Black History Month you have learned something. And we challenge you to learn something. Learn about African American history, something you didn't know before. Learn about it and share it with someone, because this is a great time. And thank you.